The story begins far from cities, deep in the endless forests of the Pacific Northwest, where trees grow so tall they swallow the sky and the ground stays damp even in summer. This land has a reputation. People who live nearby speak of strange sounds at night, of shadows moving between trees, of animals found torn apart with no clear explanation. Most outsiders laugh it off as campfire stories. But the locals know better. They call it simply, the mountain, and they avoid it after dark. Daniel Malloy arrives here chasing a story. He is a journalist whose career has stalled, and he needs something big, something shocking enough to pull him back into relevance. When reports surface about hikers going missing and a park ranger found brutally killed, Daniel sees opportunity. The official explanation is a bear attack, but the photos leaked online tell a different story. The wounds are too precise, too violent. Daniel convinces himself that there is something being covered up, and if he uncovers it, his name will matter again. He brings a small team with him. Allison Carter, a wildlife biologist, joins for scientific credibility. She believes the attacks are the result of a rare and aggressive predator, possibly a deformed bear or an undiscovered subspecies. Mark Jennings, a cameraman who has filmed war zones and disasters, comes for the paycheck and the thrill. Finally, there is Linda Perez, a local guide who knows the forest better than anyone. She does not like this assignment, but money is tight, and she agrees on one condition: if she says they turn back, they turn back. No questions asked. From the moment they drive into the forest, the mood shifts. The air feels heavier, and the road narrows into a winding path surrounded by towering trees. Their equipment truck rattles over uneven ground as Daniel talks excitedly about interviews and footage. Linda says very little. She keeps her eyes on the road and her hand close to the radio, as if expecting trouble. They reach. Morning light offers no comfort. The forest looks peaceful from a distance, but up close everything feels tense, like a coiled muscle ready to snap. Daniel barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard that breathing again, slow and deliberate, as if the thing had been standing inches from his face. Mark keeps replaying the footage they managed to save, but there is nothing useful on it. Static, shadows, and brief distortions that vanish before they can be studied. Allison insists that the creature showed intelligence. It tested them. It did not attack to kill. Not yet. Linda wants to leave immediately. She says the mountain has marked them now, and the longer they stay, the worse it will get. Daniel argues that they are already too deep, both physically and professionally. If they walk away now, everything they have endured means nothing. He promises they will stick to daylight travel and head back to the main road by evening. Reluctantly, Linda agrees, though every step she takes feels like a mistake. They move carefully, following an old logging trail that cuts through the forest. The trees press in close, their branches forming twisted arches overhead. Halfway down the trail, they find something that stops them cold. A deer hangs from a tree, its body torn open and arranged almost deliberately. Bones are stacked at its feet, and symbols are carved into the bark around it. Allison recognizes the markings as primitive, not decorative but communicative. A warning. Mark begins filming, whispering into the camera. Daniel tells him to keep rolling. This is proof, he says. Evidence that whatever they are dealing with is not an animal. Linda turns away, fighting tears. She has seen this before. Years ago, a group of hunters disappeared in this same area. When search teams came through, they found similar displays, but the reports were buried and explained away. As they move on, the forest seems to follow them. They hear footsteps matching their pace, staying just. The forest feels different after Mark is taken. It is quieter, almost respectful, as if the mountain itself is observing a moment of silence. Daniel sits with his back against the cold stone, his hands shaking uncontrollably. The camera lies abandoned beside him, its red recording light still blinking. He cannot bring himself to turn it off. A part of him believes that as long as it is recording, Mark is not truly gone. Allison forces herself to think practically. Linda's condition is worsening. The break is infected, and without proper medical care, she will not survive. Staying in the cave is no longer an option. Whatever rules the creature follows, it has already proven that it can reach them anywhere. Allison believes they must move before night falls again. Daylight, she reasons, is the only advantage they have left. Linda finally tells them the full story. Generations ago, her ancestors spoke of a being known as the Watcher. It was not born evil. It was created, or perhaps awakened, to protect the land from those who abused it. When settlers arrived and began cutting down forests, hunting without restraint, and killing each other over territory, the Watcher responded. Disappearances followed. Entire camps vanished. Over time, people learned to stay away, and the Watcher faded into legend. Daniel listens in silence, guilt gnawing at him. He realizes his mistake was not coming here, but refusing to listen when warned. The creature is not hunting randomly. It is passing judgment. And it sees them as invaders. They leave the cave just after noon. Allison and Daniel build a makeshift stretcher for Linda using branches and torn fabric. Every step is agony, both physical and emotional. The forest watches them. They feel it in the way the air presses in the way birds fall silent as they pass. Occasionally, they hear movement in the distance, never close enough to see, always close enough to feel. They reach a narrow plateau overlooking the valley. In the center stand. The footage spreads slowly at first. A leaked clip on a forgotten forum. A grainy image shared without context. Most viewers laugh it off, calling it clever editing or viral horror marketing. But a few people notice details that are hard to explain. The way the trees react when the creature appears. The way Daniel's voice breaks, not in fear, but in understanding. Those people keep watching. And they start asking questions. Allison disappears from public life. She refuses interviews, deletes her online presence, and moves somewhere remote. Linda returns to her hometown but never speaks of the mountain again. When asked about Daniel, she says only that he chose to stay. That answer is enough to end most conversations. Years pass. The forest begins to recover. Areas once stripped bare grow dense and green again. Wildlife returns in numbers unseen for decades. Official records quietly reclassify the region as protected land, closed to hikers and developers due to unstable conditions. No one argues too hard. Some places, people decide, are better left alone. Then the disappearances start again. Not near the mountain, but far from it. Construction sites. Illegal logging camps. Remote mining operations that push deep into untouched land. Workers vanish overnight, leaving behind heavy machinery twisted like scrap metal and symbols carved into stone and steel. The same symbols Daniel filmed years ago. A new generation discovers the footage. This time, it does not vanish. Environmental groups, researchers, and conspiracy theorists dissect every frame. A theory emerges that chills those who believe it. The Watcher is no longer bound to one place. It learned something from the humans who came looking for truth. It learned how stories travel. Late one night, Allison receives an email from an unknown address. There is no text, only a single video file. Her hands tremble as she opens it. The footage shows a dense forest she does not recognize. The camera angle is familiar. 2FA.